who can use a little bit more patience? I know some days I can definitely use a little bit more patience towards my children, but in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you kind of a step-by-step process that I've learned over the years that allows me to be more patient and more calm towards my children. So stick around. Hey everyone, welcome to Mom for Every Season, or welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. Thank you so much for coming back. If you are brand new, my name is Taryn and I'm a mom of 3. I have a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And definitely over the years, my patience has grown. It's something that, you know, just as part of motherhood, it's just this like journey we are all on through. I think motherhood is the best thing for personal development. It definitely can bring out the worst in you, but it can also bring out the best in you. And again, if you are brand new, I invite you to stick around, hit that subscribe button. I post videos on motherhood and mindset, intentional parenthood, and really anything to help you get out of the overwhelm, live a life of ease so that you are living your most extraordinary mom life. So if that's something that interests you, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. I hope you enjoy the video. So today I'm just sharing you, this is actually part 2. If you have not watched part 1, I'll make sure I put it in the description box down below, and I'll put a little info card here. But those were more tips that you can more so proactively do to help you, set you up for success and set you up for more patience and being a calm mom. So definitely check that video out if you haven't already. But today's video is just more of a step-by-step process. And I've learned this through Mother's Awakening, I believe is the channel that I saw it from. And I've kind of tweaked it a little bit to my own process and what really resonates with me. So I'm going to be sharing. The first video was just getting way too long, so I decided to divide them into 2 separate videos. So check out part 1 if you haven't, and this will be part 2. Growing patience can take time. And this process that I'm going to teach you is kind of something you can more so do in the moment, but also just understand that it can take time to, fully develop each step. So it's, give yourself a lot of grace and give yourself a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Even a lot of forgiveness. Drop the guilt. We, don't need any mom guilt here, because I'm sure if you ask every single mom, they have, lost their patience with their child, or, yelled, or just gotten really frustrated with them. So it's just a learning process. So be very patient with yourself and give yourself time to develop your own patience. But okay, so the next little process that I've kind of learned, I always want to say along my journey, but that kind of sounds too spiritual, but along my parenting path, because of course I'm not the same mom that I used to be when I had my 7-year-old. So in 7 years, my patience has grown. But this little process has helped along the way. But the first step of the process is just to notice your triggers. So are there certain times of the day, are there certain moments that you find yourself being more impatient or frustrated or annoyed, or maybe yelling or more angry? And then setting yourself up. Okay, now I know these moments are normally triggers for me. So whether that can be, around bedtime or leaving the house, or what else? Or moments where maybe it's a little bit more noisy, and just really getting curious with those. What is it about it that is you're feeling triggered? For me, I know I used to feel really triggered. It was almost I could feel my body getting amped up when my kids were really noisy, and just getting curious about that. I'm okay, well, why is this? They're having fun. They're not, but I think I came from a perspective that maybe when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to make a ton of noise, and I don't mind them now. I'll give them, little drumsticks to bang on the pots and pans, or they have bells. It just doesn't bother me. I'm okay, they're having fun. I've kind of turned that perspective. They're not being mischievous, they're not being chaotic, they're not being disrespectful, they're having fun. So notice what your triggers are, and again, just really getting really curious and setting yourself up. Okay, so if it's usually around bedtime, I'm getting really impatient with my children. Just setting yourself up that, okay, these are the moments that I'm gonna do the following steps. Okay, like set yourself up for success, set your kids up for success. So number 2 is just becoming aware of those triggers, and then becoming aware of the thoughts around those triggers. So because when we can get, into that like amped up fight or flight kind of mode, those thoughts are often snowballing, and our thoughts are kind of, again, they're like the fuel to the fire, to our emotions and to everything. So if we can kind of become more aware of those, we, dampen that fire, we extinguish it. So just noticing, and again, you can take as long as you need with all of these steps and processes, because maybe you do need more time. Maybe you need more time, a couple weeks, to become aware of what your triggers are, and then maybe another week or 2 or whatever, a couple months. Like, the thing is, this is going to take time, and it's going to obviously take patience to become more patient. So you can write them down, maybe keep a log for a week or 2 weeks, and just becoming aware of those beliefs and those thoughts around those triggers. So when I noticed too, when my youngest would take forever to go to bed, and my kids are really like amped up around bedtime, like I can get impatient with that. And it's because I'm telling myself, I don't have time for this. I have, things I need to get done. I need to clean the house. I have work I need to try and get done. I want to spend time on myself. I want to be able to have some me time. I've noticed those, and as soon as I notice them, they, instantly kind of just become more neutral, because when we're taking those thoughts, most often they are either in the future or they're in the past, and that's where fear lives, and that's where like all of these negative, byproducts of our thoughts live. And you can use this with anything, like what thoughts come up, like, who's gonna clean this up? I don't have time for this. Even just in that, when your child's having a temper tantrum, and you just notice, like, I've noticed myself thinking, like, affect how my child is when they're older, right? Like, I'm not parenting well. I have a misbehaved kid right now, and I get into this state of like fearful thinking. So as soon as I can notice that, I dissolve it, and then I can move forward. So the next step is just to breathe. Again, taking that breath. And I'm just gonna be really repetitive, just taking that breath, taking that moment. It like grounds you instantly. So those fearful thoughts that you were thinking in the future, or in the past, or whatever that is, it's gonna ground you right now into that present. And just letting it all go. Like, just let those things go. You'll get to it when you get to it. Surrender, let it go, breathe in. Bring yourself back to that moment right now. And this will help, with that chaos, that frenziness. It will snap you out of that fight or flight mode, bring you back to more neutral, and then you can move forward from that. So then number 4 is, I like to think of, again, grounding myself. You can visualize this. You can, I like to think of like kind of just centering myself into my heart center. You can just visualize, I like to visualize just like light kind of coming in, everything like just coming in closer. And I will even say in my head, okay, for like an example, if my daughter's taking forever to go to bed and I'm trying to get her to sleep, like she's still nursing right now a little bit at night, and I will just center myself, think of my heart center, ground myself, bring that light in, and I'll look at her and I will say in my head, all that matters in this moment right now, right here, is you. And I look at her, and the fears drop, the chaos drops, everything already feels lighter. All of this obviously brings in more patience, more empathy towards my children in whatever example, like in whatever moment. It brings in all of those. And then number 5 is just asking in that moment, what does my child need from me right now? So even if they're in those moments of having a temper tantrum, or maybe they're talking back or something like that, if you can follow these processes and bring it back, because I know even too, like with my oldest, sometimes when she talks back, like My fearful thoughts can go towards like, oh my gosh, what is she going to be like when she's a teenager? She's disrespecting me. I'm not parenting well. I guess my biggest fear is that she's not going to be a kind person, and I always want her to be kind. But that's putting so much pressure and so much fear into that. Like, it's just, you're parenting, I guess, when I get into that, I'm parenting from my ego. So just all of this, bringing it back, centering myself, asking myself, what does my child need from me? And honest, like most of the time, they just need love and connection. They just want your attention. They want your love. They just need you. They need help. So whether that is, you know, maybe they just need a glass of water. Maybe they just want a hug. Maybe they're having a hard time and they need you to help them regulate their emotions because they're still learning at this. It could be just a whole bunch of things. And I can come back to patience, and I can come back to love and connection and what my child needs most from me. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you did, make sure to give it a big like. And I don't know, I'd love to know, like, what do you find is the biggest struggle when it comes to your child's behavior? Like, are there certain moments or certain times of the day? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know if you have any further questions. I always love to know what kind of content you guys love too. So if you have any other questions or video ideas for me, let me know in the comments down below. And I really hope you found this helpful. And again, just know that no one is perfect. No one is a perfect mom. So just let that go. Give yourself a lot of grace. We are all here learning as human beings, learning to be better parents, learning to be better mothers, and just better people in general. But we also need to give ourselves grace in those moments. So that is it for now. I always end my videos with, in case you haven't heard this today, you are an amazing mom and you got this, mama. So that's it for now. Bye for now.